So, what else did we do? What else did we do? Family. Actually, our extended family was all the way in Cincinnati, so we really didn't see them hardly at all. Dad had moved because he was worked with his company, and everybody, the cousins and the aunts and the uncles and the grandparents were out in Cincinnati. We visited them once a year. Sometimes there were special trips, but most every year it was Thanksgiving there. In fact, when we finally grew too old for that, we had to start having it at home, and nobody knew how to cook a turkey. But anyway, when we would go, we would take all our Christmas presents, and we would go from one house to the next to the next. And my dad was one of 9, so we had to go kind of like a rotate responsibility for who got visited each year. So I knew who the cousins were, but it's not like we really were close to each other. It was, bits and pieces here and there, but it was always fun because it was people you knew. It wasn't a strange place, and it was reliable that that was how we were going to spend Thanksgiving. So those are nice memories. Let's see. Speaking of that, we were talking about Christmas. Let's see. Christmas was always on Christmas Eve, and there was a reason for that. When my mom was little, my grandpa actually worked in one of the department stores doing the windows, and so he always worked on Christmas Eve. He would actually bring the tree on Christmas Eve after the kids were all asleep, and so it was like Santa brought the tree. And when we did that, they would get up as soon as the tree was up. Santa came, and they would come and they would look, and the tree was so pretty when it was dark outside because of the lights that were on it. And so we always did that, was that we would go to church on Christmas Eve, and when we came home, Santa came. And so that was so much fun. And one year, Santa brought me, and this was in high school, Santa brought me a saxophone. And that was great because I'd been using the school sax, which is, as good as they can be, which is needs a lot of repair usually. And so having my own new saxophone was the best thing I can think of at that time. Later years, you're getting ready to go to college, so we always either had, I think it was luggage or a typewriter. Typewriters were things that you would use to write letters with. Never mind. Anyway, so what do I do now? Or actually, I just retired. I was a doctor that the last few years I've been working urgent care. Something about, let's see, what is it like doing that? It's every patient's kind of so different that you have to kind of find some way to do a routine. And my physical exam was kind of like singing. I would tell them it was like singing a song. You start with at one end, and then you just continue to do it the same continuously through the exam. So even if they come in and they're complaining about a sore throat, you look in their ears, you look in their eyes, look in their nose, their throat, and you look at all that stuff, because if you start in the middle, you get confused. Ever try to start a song in the middle? It's a mess. And so you then have to like start all over again. So that way, if I just kind of start from one end and go to the other, that's the physical for that person. There's a few variations. Somebody's got a stomach problem, you're not going to do as much above the neck, but there's a few different exams you do, and you just kind of you keep doing them. And what you remember is what's different than normal for each person, and then that's what goes in the note. Everything is normal except for blah blah blah, And so it was always fun. It was always, every person was their own kind of interest, and there was no one that was better than any others. There was no one that was worse. If somebody came in and they had a small cut, you made them leave feeling better. If somebody came in and had chest pain, you would call an ambulance and say, you don't need to be in the urgent care. You need to be in the hospital. So there was a little bit of everything. It was great to take care of people, and I can't even begin to say what would be the most memorable. They were all special. So anyway, so that's me for Jacob Lenhoff, and thank you.